Knock on the Saints door. Quarterback sneak by Tom Brady to the 43-year-old score. He did. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Now spike that ball, Tom Brady. Who says I'm 43? He runs right up the gut and scores 6. 7. Handoff, run the ball. Fournette slashes away to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 30, 25, to the 20. Fournette to the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Run the ball, Leonard Fournette. Wow, what a blast up the gut, found daylight, and outran everybody. Fire the cannons, get them going. Bucs win. Bucs win, Bucs win. Fire them cannons.
First snap in Vikings territory for Tampa Bay. Brady all day. Downfield. Touchdown. Scott Miller. Four-man rush. Brady airing it out. Going deep. He's got it to Antonio Brown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones will get it. Big hole. Jones gets by. Ronald Jones may go all the way. Being chased from behind. Does Jones have enough? Still on his feet. Ronald Jones, 98-yard touchdown.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Swords Up Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our 30-20 win in the divisional round over the New Orleans Saints. Third time's the charm. We did it. We beat the Saints to advance to the NFC Championship game, and we now know that we'll be playing against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. And so today we're going to be talking about the stats and the reaction from this game. But first, just one little bit of injury news to keep an eye on, and that's going to be with Antonio Brown, who ended up dealing with a knee injury in this game. Was kind of on and off the field, but really didn't see much action at all. Was definitely limited in the second half because of this injury. And Bruce Arians said in the press conference that it didn't look like there was any significant structural damage on Antonio Brown's knee through what it showed on an MRI scan that he had, similar to what he said with the Mike Evans injury. So hopefully that means Antonio Brown will be able to practice and be on the field for next week's game, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And so that leads me into our player of the game for this week, and I think it was pretty clear that Devin White had an outstanding performance for us in this game. Really was the leading man in the second half on our defense, and the defense did really turn around in the second half after kind of a slow start. Offensively, we needed the defense to step up in the second half, and they did just that. And so for Devin White in this game, he had 11 total tackles, 1 for a loss, an interception, 1 pass defended, and 1 fumble recovery. He was really all over the field all the time, and he also made really key plays, like with the interception, which was the second of the game thrown by Drew Brees, and also on the Antoine Winfield forced fumble off Jared Cook. Devin White was the one who ran that one back, and he was just all over the field making plays in the short game and getting in the backfield. Really was quite the disruptor and the playmaker that we needed in this one. All right, so looking at the stats for the game, starting on the Saints side of things, and I'll get to Drew Brees in a moment, but this was not one of his best days, and I'll lead into it in a bit, but it's kind of a disappointing way for him to go out and end his NFL career. Jay Glazer reported before the game that Drew Brees' last game at the Superdome was going to be this game, and many people expected he was going to retire after the season, and so this ended up being his final game because of their loss. And in this game, Drew Brees had 19 completions on 34 attempts, 434 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And those turnovers were really the main reason why we ended up winning this game. The defense being able to force those turnovers and our offense having the short field to capitalize off of them. But I'll get into more of those in a bit. But Jameis Winston also came in and threw a touchdown pass, and that was off of a trick play that I think everyone knows that they definitely copied from the Bears in the wild card round that they used against them. The Bears weren't able to successfully execute it, but the Saints were able to, and they went up 13-10 after this play in the second half, with Jameis Winston throwing that touchdown pass off of that play, which was his only completion and pass attempt of the game, and that went for 56 yards. On the ground, statistically, the Saints had a successful day considering they went above our per game average against the run, with Alvin Kamara having 18 carries for 85 yards, Ty Montgomery 4 carries for 14 yards, Drew Brees with 2 for 3 yards, Dwayne Washington 1 for 2 yards. And although the Saints did rush for over 100 yards in this game, it wasn't really comparative to the success the Buccaneers had running the ball, as we were able to basically shut down Alvin Kamara's production in this one, forcing the Saints to throw the ball, which is where the turnovers came off of. And so the leading receiver for the Saints in this one was actually Traquan Smith, 3 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. Emmanuel Sanders was second with 6 catches for 48 yards. Jared Cook, 5 catches for 28 yards. He also was the one who was stripped of the ball by Antoine Winfield on that fumble. Kamara, 3 for 20. Ty Montgomery, 1 for 13. Deontay Harris, 1 for -1. Josh Hill, 1 for -3. And Michael Thomas was held without a catch in a game for the first time in his career. So shout out to Carlton Davis for really locking him up in this one. Defensively, leading tackler in this one was Malcolm Jenkins with 11 total tackles, and Demario Davis was second with 9 total tackles. He also had the only sack and tackle for a loss for the Saints in this one, having passes defended were Malcolm Jenkins with 3, Marshawn Lattimore with 2, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson with 1. Will Lutz going 2 for 2 on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points. Now on the Buccaneers side of things, and Tom Brady didn't need to have his best performance of the season and really was cooled down for a bit in the first half, coming off of the explosive performances he has had in weeks prior. Didn't really get off to a fast start in this one, but he didn't need to be on fire for us in this one. All he had to do was not turn the ball over, and he did just that. Although there were moments in this game where he could have had a couple of interceptions, and they were definitely close calls, but nonetheless, he finished with 18 completions on 33 attempts for 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And running the ball was definitely a key in this one, and that helped us really able to get our offense going in the second half, also opening up the play action, which we needed to be successful for us to do anything in this one, because in the prior 2 games against the Saints, we were unable to run the ball, and that led to us throwing. In the first game, it was because the Saints did a really good job at defending it, and so that forced us to throw a lot. But in the second game against them, we just went behind early because of the turnovers that we had. So we ended up being forced to throw the ball all game because we were behind so early. But in this one, with us being able to stay in the game, and with the game being tied at halftime, our defense was able to make some key stops and turnovers, which did end up helping us get our offense going. And it was another successful rushing performance in this one, with Leonard Fournette being the leading rusher, 17 carries for 63 yards. He ended up getting the start over Ronald Jones, who was dealing with injuries last week. And Ronald Jones was pretty effective himself, 13 carries for 62 yards. And so they split carries almost evenly. We'll see who gets the start going into next week's game, but both of them have had impressive stretches. Ronald Jones has been the main man this year, but Leonard Fournette has had an impressive stretch throughout the end of the year and going into the playoffs. And then Tom Brady had 3 kneel downs at the end of the game, but other than that, 2 carries. And he also had a rushing touchdown and 2 yards total rushing. Leading receiver in this one was Cameron Brate. He's really stepped up for us in the playoffs, has really come on strong. He's actually been our leading receiver in the playoffs so far, and he had 4 catches for 50 yards in this one. And Leonard Fournette was second with 5 catches for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. Chris Godwin, 4 catches for 34 yards. Scotty Miller, 1 for 29. Tyler Johnson, who made an amazing catch on a really important 3rd down. That was his only catch of the game, and it went for 15 yards. It was quite the catch, one of the best from our receivers all year. Gronkowski, 1 for 14 yards. Antonio Brown, limited with injury, 1 for 10 yards. Mike Evans, once again, as I expected, going up against the Saints. He has just seemed to not really have very good performances against them, but nonetheless, he came up with a touchdown catch on this one, which was his only catch of the game, and it went for 3 yards. Leading tackler in this one, Devin White, who I mentioned had 11 total tackles, and second was Levante David with 7 total tackles, and Antoine Winfield with 6 total tackles. Having tackles for a loss were Devin White and Sean Murphy-Bunting. And we did not have any sacks in this one, but we were able to get some pressure on Drew Brees, making him uncomfortable and leading to those interceptions. And coming up with those 3 interceptions were Sean Murphy-Bunting, Mike Edwards, and Devin White. Sean Murphy-Bunting had 2 passes defended. Mike Edwards, Devin White, Jason Pierre-Paul, Ross Cockrell, Carlton Davis, and Jamel Dean with 1 each. And like I mentioned, Antoine Winfield had the forced fumble, which was recovered by Devin White. Ryan Suckup, 3 for 3 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points. All right, so I kind of already mentioned the keys to why we won this game, but I'll just go over them pretty quickly here. And winning the turnover battle was key, with no turnovers for us and 4 from the Saints. All 3 of our touchdowns came off of turnovers by the Saints. So scoring points off turnovers, we scored 24 points off turnovers in this one, which was pretty much the main reason why we won this game. So having a clean game like that, and with their defense stepping up and getting those turnovers, really helped our offense get the short field that we needed to punch the ball in. Also, having a great run game helped us in this one. Our offense got off to a slow start, which they had been against the Saints in the past couple of games, but this game was different because we were able to have a successful run game. We were able to have decent pass plays off of play action because of the successful run game. And also, with us being able to run the ball successfully the past 2 weeks, this is a really positive thing to see, considering that the Packers defense has been improving throughout the course of the season, and that we're going to need to have a balanced attack to be able to cut through their defense in this one. And with the running performance we had this week and also last week, it shows that we don't have to win the game with a dynamic passing offense, that we can win the game with our run game. And that really says a lot to our offensive line. Not only are they able to protect Brady and keep him comfortable in the pocket, they're also able to open holes in the run game. All right, so with this Buccaneer win here in the divisional round, they advanced to the NFC Championship for the first time since the 2002 season, which was their Super Bowl winning season. And with this loss, Drew Brees is most likely going to be retiring now. Many speculate that this was going to be his last season, and he signed a contract with NBC to move into broadcasting. And so this probably marks the end of Drew Brees' outstanding career, so best of luck to him. But nonetheless, the Buccaneers are moving on to play the Packers in the NFC Championship game. And so we'll definitely be looking forward to that. Another great quarterback matchup with Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And so we'll be looking forward to the preview of that one. But that's going to be it for this divisional round analysis. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. But thank you for watching, and go Bucs.